Doug Schoen, a former advisor to former President Bill Clinton and Michael Bloomberg, as well as a Fox News contributor. And we're joined by Chris Wilson, a former Ted Cruz campaign pollster and GOP pollster. Gentlemen, great to have you.
Thanks.
How much of this, Chris, in terms of House retirements, is it is awful being in the minority party in the House of Representatives?
Well, it is, but I think the other factor here is that Republicans have term limits for committee chairmanships, and it creates a sort of a natural turnover, if you will, in which people decide that if they've been chairman of a committee or a subcommittee, they don't really want to go back to being just sitting on that committee or on other committees, and so it does create more of a regeneration of House members. I think it's a healthy thing. If you look at the members that have retired, it's primarily safe seats. I mean, John Shimkus, who just announced that he's going to retire from Illinois. It's a safe seat. Republicans will hold that seat. In fact, if you look at all the retirements you just mentioned, really only one of those, Texas 23rd, Will Hurd's district, will be competitive. The rest of them Republicans should hold. So I feel good about that. I mean, the Senate is more nuanced, but the House right now, whether or not Republicans take the House back or Democrats hold it, will depend on seats that Democrats won in 2018. And it took every bit of the blue wave to do that. I'm hitting today from Oklahoma City, where Democrats picked up Oklahoma 5. The chances that Kendra Horn holds that seat is very slim, and Republicans will nominate someone who most likely takes it back in 2020. And you've got a lot of those seats around the country, and that's what's going to decide the future of the House of Representatives.
Doug, let me play for you Vice President Mike Pence's argument with radio host Tony Katz, and I will ask you to respond.
Sure.
It's not going to be enough for us just to win the next election. We've got to win the next generation. Openly advocating socialism in the United States of America is something I thought I'd never live to see. But it's happening, and it gives you an idea of just how far left the modern Democratic Party has gone.
Doug, is there a concern some of the new vocal members are too far left for the good of the Democratic Party?
Sure, there's a concern. It's a fair concern. But with the president trailing in the opinion polls, with the generic vote being about +8 for the Democrats over the Republicans, and with Nancy Pelosi keeping the party as close to the center as she can, I think it's an overblown concern. Look, we need to pick up 3 seats in the Senate. I think, as Chris was acknowledging, the House is going to be a real reach for the Republicans. We have the possibility of running the table in 2020. I think the Democrats are in pretty good shape, though I would caution, to be candid, stay away from the Green New Deal, stay away from redistribution, talk about growth, talk about empowerment of minorities, but don't move too far to the left.
Chris, let's get you to react to that. Are you worried about the majority being lost potentially in the Senate? And what about the House? Is it out of reach?
Yeah, no, the House is not out of reach. I'm sorry, I should have gone on and said that. I mean, I feel like actually Republicans have a pretty good chance to take the House back. But on the Senate, I'll go through it individually, because I think there's only a few states, a few races that are up for grabs. You got Alabama. Democrats are going to lose Alabama. I bet Doug would acknowledge that. It's kind of like when Republicans won Massachusetts. We rented that seat for about a year and a half, and then we gave it back. And that's what Doug Jones is doing. The only question is who wins the seat back for Republicans. I think Jason Smith in Minnesota has a real good chance to take that seat for Republicans. On Democrats' side, Republicans are defending some incumbents in Colorado, in Arizona, in North Carolina, in which they will be tough races. But I feel very good about, I think the president will win North Carolina. I think Tom Tillis will win North Carolina. I think in Colorado, you've got in Cory Gardner, a very strong incumbent, someone who ran a tremendous race last time, is going to do so again. And Martha McSally, who just barely lost the race in 2018, was appointed to the seat in 2020. It's one that Democrats have not won that seat going back really decades, and I feel like she is another strong incumbent. So they're tough races that in states that are trending blue, but we have very strong incumbents who work hard and are very popular at home, and so I feel good about our chances in all of those.
Doug, which Senate races are you watching the closest? Sure. And with Senator Isaacson announcing his plans to retire at the end of the year for health reasons, both Georgia Senate seats will be on the ballot next year. Do Democrats think they have a shot of winning one or both in what used to be reliably red Georgia?
Well, they do, and it would be much enhanced if we could get Stacey Abrams to run in Georgia for one of those 2 seats. We have Governor Hickenlooper, who is ahead now in Colorado. Mark Kelly is ahead now in Arizona. Susan Collins in Maine is vulnerable, as is Tom Tillis in North Carolina. So we have a wide array of seats that are potentially in play. And if the top of the ticket stays as weak as it is appear to be now, we have a real shot to win the Senate and hold the House as I suggested.
All right. Doug Schoen and Chris Wilson, gentlemen, thanks very much.
Thank you so much.
No, thank you.